Wednesday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. Streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. This morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. You can see my handsome young guests who have joined us this morning. I'll introduce them to you now. With the Department of Natural Resources for the state of Georgia, we got Sergeant Eric Brown on my left and Game Warden for the region, Joe Ballard. His part of his region does cover Carroll County, and appreciate you guys coming out this morning. We'll just talk about, as we end the summer, and maybe talk about some things, some animals we can look forward to seeing in the fall, or when is the rut period for for the deer? Is that all in spring?
It usually starts around the third week of November. It's kind of a moving target.
So it is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good. Again, Eric and Joe, our guests on this morning's Community Voice. I guess, first of all, tell me how you guys got into the DNR. Why'd you choose this field?
Well, I got my bachelor's degree in wildlife biology and just always wanted to work outside, so I thought it'd be a great field to get into.
Yeah. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I got an associate's degree in criminal justice right now, and just always had a passion of being outdoors and conserving, the natural resources in the state and protecting the wildlife and making sure people know how to abide by the hunting and fishing laws in the state.
I guess overall, do we abide by them more than we're breaking them? I mean, do you see people consciously trying to follow those, or we still see a lot of people who?
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, most people put the effort towards trying to abide by the law. Most people do. I'd say most of our encounters are people that are abiding by the law, but we always have that smaller percentage of people that aren't.
And what's the most common law that we might be breaking?
Most of the time it's just license issues, either whether it's hunting or fishing license. But we have some that's either over the limit or hunting over bait or stuff like that. But most of the time it's just license.
All right. How about the not the hierarchy, the structure of the DNR? Because it's more than one department, right?
Sure, it's 7 divisions statewide, and we're part of the law enforcement division. Mm-hmm. But you've got Wildlife Resources Division, Parks Division, Environmental, Coastal Resources. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so do you guys kind of oversee all those as far as the law enforcement, or?
We do. We handle all the law enforcement within the state, so we're the only division of DNR that handles the law enforcement.
I gotcha. So the division's environmental protection, you got law enforcement, parks and historic sites division. What is that? Does that cover just state parks, or do you guys work for county parks as well, or work in those?
No, it's state.
Okay. And then the wildlife resources division. I guess what are the biggest challenges you guys face today at the DNR? I mean, we kind of talked about people breaking the laws here a little bit, but what are the biggest challenges you guys deal with?
Really, here lately, it seems like just getting people out to recreate.
Yeah.
That's just as the years go by in my career, I've seen it become less and less.
I'll say, when I was a kid, we had woods across the street. I mean, we'd go for 2 miles, and we were out there every single day. And this had been in the late 70s, early 80s. But we didn't have the games and things like that to keep us occupied.
Yeah, habitat loss has been a big, with all the rural Georgia becoming more urbanized. The state has actually tried to combat that in some respects. They've been fairly aggressive on purchasing land. We've got a fairly new WMA, or it's actually a VPA at this point, and 2 of them in Haralson County. We've got the Tallapoosa VPA and Treat Mountain VPA.
And what is that?
It's where we've entered into a contract with the Nature Conservancy, who has purchased that property, and it's in the process, it's my understanding, being deeded to the state. It will eventually become a wildlife management area.
Oh, very cool. Is that, all the wildlife's protected? And
Sure. We manage it all as far as, the hunts. Most of the hunts are quota.
Mm-hmm. Quota, and Tallapoosa has been youth only, but this year they've actually changed it to where it's not youth only and it's a quota.
I've heard a lot of commercials over the last 2 years, a big campaign to get kids out in the woods and their parents out in the woods. Is that coming from the DNR, or is that?
Possibly, but that's the biggest challenge. We just don't have as many people hunting. Fishing, you still have a good bit of folks fishing. Boating is remaining fairly steady, but hunting is just in a state of decline at this point.
Well, you told me a couple days ago when I reached out to you that you're thinking about retiring, like that might be come up. And that was a big shock to me, because over the last 15 years, anytime I had kind of wildlife question or wanted to do a story, it was It was there who I went to.
After about 30 years, it's time to turn it over and let somebody else play.
Yeah. Is that so? What's that process? Do you think by the end of this year?
Yes, definitely.
So you're going to give up, outdoors altogether? Is that,
no, just quit chasing people.
You, I guess a couple of years ago too. Or a few years ago anyway. You started with honeybees, right?
Yes. It kind of fell in with a degree with a lot of tree ID and plant ID. So I run about 80 colonies right now. So I have plenty of honey.
Are they all on your property?
No, I have them in both Carroll and Harrelson, and I actually got bees in LJ right now for the sourwood flow.
Yeah. What is that, the sourwood? I mean, is that a different?
It's a different type of honey.
Yeah.
It's, a lot of people like it. It's only found in the Appalachian Mountains, so it's kind of unique.
Do you have the big garb that you put on, the big outfit, and then what I just see like a thing of smoke? Is that? And what is that even?
It's just smoke. It kind of calms the bees down.
Yeah.
It simulates a fire, and they'll actually gorge on honey, and like we all do when we gorge on food, we'd like to lay around and not do a whole lot.
So if anybody wants to come by, though, you're just selling them out of the back of your truck here this morning. All right,
Absolutely.
Very cool. My guest this morning with the Department of Natural Resources, State of Georgia, we got Sergeant Eric Brown and Game Warden, Regional Game Warden, we're calling him, Joe Ballard. We used to have just a Carroll County one.
We did. Back, I don't know, I guess it's been in transition for quite some time, but I'd say about 15 years ago we had a move away from the county game warden concept into more of a at-large. So we work in a 6-county work section, and at any given time you'll have 2 or 3 guys off. So we just kind of go where we're needed and just go to the call volume.
And you guys work with a lot of local law enforcement as well. I mean, you work with the sheriff's office and local police and the fire departments even.
Absolutely, yeah. We work very close with the fire department on search and rescue and things of that nature, and we're even involved with a lot of the shenanigans in Atlanta. So a lot of times we're called on to assist with the riots and protests and things of that nature.
You guys have a machine, a toy that kind of really, when there's a fire coming, it totally clears out debris. So how Garrett Pawnell, I was talking to him, and he, last year we had like a surge of there was like a 2-month period. There were a bunch of fires. It could have been earlier this year even. There was like 25 fires within a month here, and I thought there was some kind of device that cleared all the debris, which would stop the fire.
The Georgia Forestry, they've got.
Is that okay?
Yeah, they've got dozers that are actually plow a fire break that would stop that. But actually, our aviation unit uses, I think it's called the Bambi bucket.
I think so.
Where they're able to pick up, I don't know, it's large volumes of water and actually dump those on fires.
All right,
and they actually assisted with this past fire that was in North Georgia. Was it last year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it's like this, we see them on TV in Los Angeles or in California anyway, all the time, similar to that.
Exactly.
All right. We'll take our first break and come back and continue our show with 2 gentlemen from the Department of Natural Resources, State of Georgia. We've got Sergeant Eric Brown and Game Warden for our region. His name is Joe Ballard. If you have any questions or comments, please post those to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and we'll share those with our guests this morning. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Imagine a place where every heartbeat is monitored with the utmost care, where emergencies are met with swift attention, and where cutting-edge technology enables precise and timely treatments. At Tanner Health, every patient's journey is a testament to resilience, a story of strength, healing, and hope. We go beyond treatment to redefine what compassionate care truly means. That's Tanner Health. That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy specializes in a customized designed academic approach tailored to meet the needs of our families. Our lower division prepares students with the necessary foundation to build excellence. Our middle division provides students with over 15 course offerings, providing them with opportunities to explore their talents and gifts. Our upper division provides personalized academic journeys, allowing them to achieve their dreams. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us, where every path leads to purpose.
8:39. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And this morning we're on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. A lot of people already checked in, at least, given the like and the smiley face for the program. Our girl Jessica Kay, she said she's got her fishing license. And Tommy White says Eric is a handsome man with that beard. That's what he said. So thank you guys for checking in to the program. One of my favorite stories, I guess, over the last couple of years is we had an alligator. I think it was in Roopville. It was in southern Carroll County.
We did, off Highway 5. We sure did.
Yes. I mean, and how rare is that?
It's not uncommon, but it's not a everyday event either. Most of the time they're brought up from Florida or coastal Carolina, something like that, and put into an aquarium, and eventually they outgrow that habitat, and people tend to let them go.
Oh yeah, so it's not like, I mean, he made his way up here, got lost, or
Doubtful. I know after the floods of '09, there were reports of them pretty commonly being found just below the dam of West Point, but that's kind of the stopping point.
Yeah. Do they have that natural instinct to go south? I mean, like if they were brought up here and they're set free or whatever, do they have that instinct to?
That one didn't.
Yeah. He stuck around for about 3 or 4 days. I know a lot of people put pictures on Facebook. You know, they were like 20 feet behind him, following him. I guess you guys looked for him for about a week or so.
We
right?
did. We made some attempts to apprehend him, but he eluded us.
And when that happens, should people be scared? Should they lock themselves up in their house and not come out until?
No, they rarely will have an interaction with humans, so they tend to keep their distance. We don't have very many, if any, alligator attacks in the state of Georgia. Yeah. So, of course, they're not supposed to be here, and people aren't used to being around them. So there was definitely the freak out factor.
Oh yeah, no, it was fascinating to see the pictures pop up. I guess the gentleman whose property it was on probably didn't care for everybody running up there. One of the bad things about social media.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, but still, it was interesting. And he wasn't as big as the ones we see on golf courses in Florida on those videos or anything, right? He was maybe 4 feet.
He's 4 feet. That's kind of what we figured.
All right, but you encourage people, don't bring your alligators up here and let them grow and then set them loose.
We prefer to not.
That would be the rule. All right. Bear sightings, those are not uncommon, but we're still fascinated and interested, when they do pop up in town. Like a couple years ago, we had one in downtown Carrollton.
Absolutely. We have it every summer. It's usually around late June, I would say, when we start seeing those young males. They're usually 18-month-old males that are displaced during breeding season, and they'll follow an impassable barrier such as a river or interstate, and they end up lost here.
This one just took the greenbelt.
Possibly.
He just said, hey, that's nice, let me go up. Because it was up in that direction. It was near Rome Street, I think.
I think so.
Where he popped in, and then maybe traveled back up north. But, as far as our responsibility, I guess we see something. I mean, do you guys need to be called when we see that?
We like to kind of know, just to kind of track it and make sure nobody does anything they shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't cause any harm. I actually had one in Tallapoosa the first week in July around a trailer of beehives, and he passed right on through. Didn't damage anything. So
just punching the beehive and getting honey.
No, he left it. Of course, there was electric fence on it, so that kind of is a deterrent as well. But there was a much larger one in Bremen back in late June, and he was frequenting a few deer feeders and just taking advantage of that free meal.
But as far as your all's responsibilities, I mean, it's not to remove them. I mean, you guys would protect anybody, but you.
Every now and then we have to go rescue one from downtown Atlanta because no bear should have to go through that. So we do try to move those, but when they're out here, there's enough habitat that they can exist and not really bother anything.
Yeah. Well, we did a story about 5 years ago about armadillos. I remember whatever month that is, they just start popping up all over the place. They end up on the road, and you just see them laying there in the morning. I mean, I remember for whatever reason that month and of that year there were tons of them. And I mean, they're just looking for food too. And that's a fascinating thing that you explained to me is that when they're scared, they just jump straight up, and that's when the cars hit them, right?
They do. A lot of people. Myself included, you grow up, things running out in the middle of the road in the middle of the night, and you straddle it, and typically if you're in a vehicle with enough clearance, then a possum will kind of squat down and no harm, no foul. You go right over him, he keeps on going. But armadillos are a little bit different. They have those guard hairs that come up through the 9 bands that they have on their back, and they anything that causes those hairs to to move, such as the breath of an animal or the wind of a passing vehicle, their defense is to jump straight up, and it will usually bust the nose or face area of the animal that's potentially about to bite it, and hence giving it time to get away. But with a vehicle, it doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah. All right, my guest this morning with the Department of Natural Resources, State of Georgia, we got Joe Ballard and Eric Brown. Hopefully, once Eric retires, we'll get Joe sticks around this job. Try and bring him on every few months or everything. What now? I guess you work 5 or 6 counties.
Yes, sir. I work 6 counties, everything from Fulton and Atlanta over to Alabama. South is Coweta and far north is Paulding.
But Fulton, I mean, there's not as much, I guess, natural resources.
Oh, there's a good bit of National Park Service has a lot of property along the river, especially north of Atlanta, and we have large part of the Chattahoochee River, and large part of it runs through Fulton County. Yeah, okay.
Believe it or not, the busiest county that we have in the work unit is Fulton County. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm convinced that the biggest deer in the state of Georgia are actually inside of 285. Yeah, I mean they're monsters. They really are.
And then up there they just kind of turn into neighborhood deer, and so they, there are people that get permission from landowners to hunt them inside the neighborhoods and stuff. But most of the time it's just people feeding them, and they get so big out there that people are coming from states around to hunt these big deer, because they're just state records up there.
Your normal day, your average day, you get up. I mean, do you go to all 6 counties every day, or?
I could. It just depends on. It varies between calls or complaints, or if there are certain areas that we've had issues at that we have to, provide a heavy presence or just general patrol in the area. One morning I may be up in Duluth in North Fulton County, and that afternoon I may be in Tallapoosa. It just all depends on calls and complaints for the most part.
Those calls, what are those calls and complaints when public reaches out to you? What are those calls for mostly?
It just depends on time of year. It could either be an animal complaint, whether, like the bear, for instance, stuff like that, or during hunting season it could be calls for people poaching that are hunting without permission on somebody's property. People could get trail camera pictures of a subject on their property that isn't supposed to be there, and so we'll go, and handle the situation. Or could be somebody fishing without permission, somebody's private pond. It just varies.
What are the penalties for that? For all the hunting related penalties, how diverse or how long can those be?
It's all misdemeanors, so anywhere between $0 and $1,000. And there are a few, such as hunting bear over bait or turkey over bait, that's misdemeanor and high and aggravated nature, which will bump it up even a little bit more. So.
And that's that was interesting when we talked about that earlier before the show. Hunting over the bait. I mean, is that just because it's not fair, or is that?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. That it spreads disease. It also is, to some, is not fair chase. Mm-hmm. So not giving the animal, as much of a chance. But it is actually legal to hunt deer over bait. So you can do that. We've got an overabundance of deer. Yeah. And so that was legalized, 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So you can hunt those over bait, but if you see a bear walk by, you can't shoot that.
When Carroll County Sheriff's Office, or when somebody calls the local police and it's animal related, I mean they go to you and you handle that investigation, right?
A lot of it, we handle a lot of wildlife calls that are injured or orphaned wildlife. Yeah. It's really not us. Wildlife Resource Division is actually the ones to call for that. But a lot of times we're just kind of in that neck of the woods, and we'll take care of the issue.
All right, Eric Brown and Joe Ballard. They're with the Department of Natural Resources, State of Georgia, our guests on this morning's Community Voice program. We'll take our final break, come back with about 9 minutes. Again, we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. Any questions or comments for our guests? You want to bid Eric farewell? His last time on the Community Voice program as a DNR person. He may come back and talk about bees someday, bees and honey. Feel free to post it on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Imagine a place where every heartbeat is monitored with the utmost care, where emergencies are met with swift attention, and where cutting-edge technology enables precise and timely treatments. At Tanner Health, every patient's journey is a testament to resilience, a story of strength, healing, and hope. We go beyond treatment to redefine what compassionate care truly means. That's Tanner Health. That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy is a vibrant community built on innovation, academic excellence, and a 64-year legacy of shaping community leaders. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, inviting you to visit the mountain and experience firsthand the passion, purpose, and personalized education that defines our school. Come see how our mission and vision come to life each day. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
All right, 8:50. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. My name's Colin Worthington. I guess I haven't introduced myself this morning. My guests, Sergeant Eric Brown and Joe Ballard with the Department of Natural Resources. Appreciate all of you guys checking in and leaving comments and knowing that you're watching this morning's program. Blake Alston says thanks for everything that y'all do for our county and our state, and encourages Eric to enjoy his retirement.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Any great stories? I mean, what's the most memorable story that you have? Let me throw this one out at you. It was, I think it was November or it was December. It was interesting to me that there was a reindeer, I guess, on its way to hanging out with Santa, and it got caught like in a little area by the Carroll County Courthouse.
Oh yeah,
it might have been a smoking area for jurors or something like that. But it was stuck in this little square place, and it was beating the heck out of itself, running into the walls.
Yeah, that one was rough. That one, it actually jumped over. I think it was about a 4-foot retainer wall.
Yeah, it was up there.
It just didn't know the drop was 25 feet on the other side of it. So yeah, that one was that took a minute to get out.
Do you remember how he did get out? You guys just encouraged him, just pointed him in the right direction, and
if I'm not badly mistaken, I went in there and caught it.
Did you? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because there was like 25 people out there at least.
I don't advise trying that. You do not come out unscathed.
It was a small deer, man. Come on.
Yeah.
How about now? Maybe I stole that one from you, but how about what are the just memories that jump out at you when when they're having the retirement ceremony, they're making you give that big speech? What's
probably so many of them that it's hard.
I never can think of them when I get put on the spot. It's just when we're outside, him hawing around, that I can kind of come up with a lot of them. So it's kind of hard to come up with one.
We've got the hunting season coming up, right?
We do,
and we're still. There's still people out there swimming and fishing and on their boats. Give us some safety things to look out when you're on your boat for the remainder of this summer.
Yeah, for boating season, one of the biggest things is life jackets. Making sure that each vessel has the right amount of life jackets. You have to have a life jacket per person on the boat. And kids that are 12 years old and under, they have to wear the life jacket at all times whenever the boat's in motion. Mm-hmm. But that's the biggest safety factor is life jackets. And then with besides just registration, nav lights, that's another safety issue. People that are operating their boats on the water after the hours of darkness have to have navigation lights so other boats can see where they're at on the water and kind of which direction that they're traveling, so they don't run into each other. But
how about drinking if you're driving a boat? Is that frowned upon?
Yeah, it's you can still drink alcohol when you're operating a boat. Still legal limit of 0.08, just like driving on the road.
And that's on public lakes, private lakes. It doesn't.
Just public lakes, like major lakes. Like the closest one to here is Lake Altoona, Lake West Point. It's a big issue that we run into every summer. You can still drink while operating a boat, and it's still 0.08, but you just got to be careful, because even if you are under 0.08, you can still be deemed as less safe to operate the boat and still potentially be arrested for boating under the influence. And
when do you guys determine that you're going to pull somebody over? Is it based on something you see? I mean, it's not like if you're driving a car, you're swerving, you're in lane to lane.
Yeah, there's always a violation that occurs beforehand before we make a vessel stop. We're not just picking out any boat we see and just pulling them over. There's always a violation that's already occurred that we've already witnessed. And then once we pull up to the boat, there's several factors that we can see or smell to determine whether they've been drinking.
I mentioned hunting season. Prepare for that. I mean, is there different hunting? I'm not a hunter, guys. Are there different hunting seasons that are coming up, or is it just one big hunting season?
Yeah, so dove season is the next hunting season that's coming up, and opening weekend for it is September 6th. And there's multiple seasons for dove season. I know the first season runs through September 6th and ends, I think, October 12th. But you want to hit on some of the safety reasons for?
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people that dove hunt do it socially. It's more about the social gathering.
I picture the fancy Brits doing that with the king and everybody.
Yeah,
and their big,
yeah. So we always try to harp on safety with that. Being sure of your target and what's beyond is the number one hunter safety rule when firing that firearm. But we see a lot of that, and we just want to keep people safe. I mean, that's the big thing. The same thing with the life jackets, and to kind of circle back on that, that's the most important thing that you could do on the water. A lot of people don't think it's cool or whatever to have it, and but we have never recovered a drowning victim that had a life jacket on. So
Words of
what's
wisdom,
your life
stick
worth?
Yeah, right. With the hunting, is it mandatory to wear the orange vests?
It is during firearms deer season. So once you start with primitive weapon, black powder, from that point on, everybody's got to wear it. If it is a firearm county, if you're in Fulton County north of Highway 92, you would not have to wear that. That's archery only. So Carroll County is definitely a firearm county, so you would need to have that orange vest.
Are there any laws that deal with archery? Any laws they have to follow?
Just limits, just normal.
Yeah, it's your legal limits. It's a little bit more relaxed with archery because it is a little bit more difficult to take.
Yeah, so they
take
seem
game
more
by.
proud. Yeah, the archers seem more
Sure.
proud when they got something. Well, guys, I got 2 more minutes left in the show. You sure you want to say hi to anybody? Want to say hi to Mom, or do you think of any cool stories that you want to share with us before we head out?
The one I don't know if it's so appropriate for radio.
Well,
but
definitely do it.
we were on boat patrol, me and another game warden. This has been 10, 15 years ago on Chattahoochee River in South Fulton County, and the boat ramp that we put in was very muddy. I mean, it's very, very muddy, thick mud. And as we're coming back down, there's this lady that's fishing on the bank there, and there's a mud flat actually in front of her where the water's actually supposed to be. It had receded down, and as we got closer, she could kind of read the name on the side of the boat, and she started freaking out. She caught her brim about that time, and she took it off and tried to throw it back real quick before we saw her. Well, she didn't pitch it quite far enough, and it landed on the mud flat, and it's just kind of flopping around. So she commences to go down there to try to get the fish and throw it back in the water, because we're getting closer. And she gets up to about her knees and gets stuck in the mud facing the bank. And we have to pull up into the boat ramp to let the other game warden out to go get the truck and all. And I'm only about a foot from her, and she is having a panic attack. Yeah. And but she can't turn around and look at me because she's stuck in the mud. So we had to actually pull the boat out. This lady having a full-blown panic attack, go around, and then we argued whose rope we were going to use to pull her out because nobody wanted to put the rope in the stinky mud down at south of Atlanta. So we pulled that lady out. We calmed her down and asked her if she needed an ambulance because she was hyperventilating. But we finally got her to calm down. And right at the very end, the other game warden said, "Okay, ma'am, game warden, need to check your fishing license." And she went hysterical all over again. So it was obvious when we pulled up there she did not have a fishing license. I was going to let it go because of all her
the ordeal.
potential medical problems, but it was pretty funny.
And the best part of that story is you married her.
No.
Guys, thank you for coming out this morning. It was good talking to you. Good to see you again, Eric, and good luck with the bees and whatever else you decide to do.
We appreciate it.
And Joe, good to meet you. And again, thank you guys for coming on this morning's program. Tomorrow we've got Carroll County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Brad Robinson. Talk about a couple of things there. So you'll tune in for that program tomorrow morning at 8:30. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.